Welcome to Protect and Grow with Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns of TJ Stearns Incorporated. Trust, respect, and results. TJ Stearns Incorporated focuses on comprehensive financial planning and benefits.
And welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement, here with Chicagoland's certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP, for yet another informative edition of Protect and Grow, proactive guidance for your money and retirement well-being. Tim, we hear a lot of concerns about the state of retirement today, and I think for good reason, as this generation of Americans have saved up a larger amount of personal wealth, but are really uncertain about how to create income and make their money last in retirement.
Well, I think most people who are baby boomers, very few and far between, still have a pension. If they do, it's minimal. They were introduced to a 401k, strategy back in the 70s, and that's what they've done. That's their biggest asset besides their house. So you're looking at that is how they're going to live, and they need to figure out how to get through it if they don't have a pension.
Now, Tim, you have talked about a lot of different proactive strategies, but the highest level, you have stressed the importance of having a written income plan for retirement. This is really going to give us the guidelines to maintain and have a reasonable level of confidence through the years and decades ahead in retirement.
I mean, to your point, Peter, we believe in income allocation plans. It's been proven that if you have a plan, you have a much better, happier retirement. There's this, the psychology goes with it, that you have every month, exactly how you're going to pay your bills. If 2022 didn't show that to people, that, boy, thank God I'm not retired right now. Well, guess what? What if you had been retired? I hate to put, water on the fire here, but the markets aren't always going to go up. All right. It seems like a lot of people are still thinking that, the 13-year bull market's back in effect. It gives pause here, whether the market's going to continue its way. So why not have a plan where every month you're paying down your bills and that type of thing using the money that you have, knowing full well that if the market does correct a little bit like it did last year, on average about 20%, doesn't matter to you. You're all set. Maybe you don't take the trip, you don't buy the car, you don't do something, but you are able to pay your bills and you're not going into money that you didn't mean to. We are all, at the end of the day, we have a finite amount of money if we don't have a pension. We met a letter carrier who had a pension. She said, what the best thing is? I can spend it and the next month it comes right back. Well, I'm jealous of that. I don't have a pension. So how do I do that? Well, most cases I'm going to use an annuity to do that.
So an annuity, one of the potential appropriate tools for consideration as part of that income planning process to allow you that confidence to know that you can pay those bills, that you've got reliable income regardless of market conditions or circumstances, because we do see bear markets on average about every 5 to 6 years. So over the course of a 20 to 30 year retirement, we'll probably see 4, 5, or 6 more of those down market years. How do you remain confident you've got the plan in place, ladies and gentlemen, that accounts for the fact that we have both up and down markets and market cycles and ebbs and flows in the economy, but that you've got reliable income regardless of those market and investment conditions? That's what Tim Stearns can help put together with you, for you, and help to implement and execute, as well as continue to monitor for improvements and opportunities along the way throughout your retirement. Those are the services there from TJ Stearns Inc. and Tim Stearns CFP. If you'd like to take advantage of a complimentary planning review, pick up the phone and give a call. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. And Tim, we've heard about annuities an awful lot over the last 10, 20 years or more. Even they've been pretty widely debated. Can you maybe give us an overview of annuities and why there is so much contention on whether they are good, bad, or appropriate or inappropriate tools?
Sure. An annuity is simply a contract between you and the insurance company that they're going to give you a sum of money back for the principal that you invested. All right, so that's a very basic definition of it. But I have a family member who years ago said to me, "Oh, you do your dinner seminars. Do you talk about annuities?" I said yes, and she went, "Oh, really?" And I said, what's wrong with that?" And she said, "Well, they're bad." I said, "Why is that?" And she said, "Well, they're terrible." And she never really gave me anything concrete. So I don't know where it started, but annuities nowadays, full disclosure, I own one because I don't have a pension. I need to have something fixed income that I know will come into my house, rain or shine, when I am retired. And the market be darned, I don't care about that. I know that I have a lifetime income from this. And if I pass away, guess what? My wife gets the same payment the next month. I don't know what's not to like about that. If I was in a mutual fund and it went to zero, I'd have no money coming in the next month. So these are things that I'm not telling people to put all of your money into it, but I am telling people at least kick the tires and get educated. And we're happy to do that.
Well, that quality of the pension that your letter carrier example mentioned, that they had income, they could spend it this month and it would be there again the next month. That is what gave that individual confidence throughout retirement. And Tim, it sounds like that's what an annuity can also provide. It's just kind of an alternative method and tool than, say, Social Security or a pension, which each of those essentially accomplishes the same goals, right?
Well, Social Security is certainly an annuity. And if you want to go a step further, it's almost like a Ponzi scheme, right? The young kids are paying in for the older people to get their payments. And I hope that continues for me as well. But at the end of the day, the annuity, what we like are the fixed index annuities that mirror the market. They're not going into the market. There's a lot of annuities that get bashed. A lot of those are variable annuities. We are not proponents of that. One of our competitors has huge ads in newspapers and all across the internet about how bad annuities are. Those are the ones he's speaking of, variable annuities. I'm speaking of fixed index annuities, which is what I own. Again, I get the upside of the market. I get none of the downside. And that's why I purchased it for my fixed income version of a bond.
And I think that is an important point, Tim, in that while annuities have been debated, they have usually been debated as a blanket statement, when in fact there are many different types of annuities. And that may be where some of the confusion lies.
Yes, Peter. I mean, nowadays you almost have a overload on the internet, where you can look up and see that, certain things are bad and certain things are good on a different website, right? That's why we implore people, come to our class, or you can Zoom it and get educated on all the different kinds of annuities. I think the big ask here is that let's not be ignorant. Let's understand exactly why we do or do not like an annuity and what the different kinds are. One size doesn't fit all. It's not a cookie cutter situation. There's different ones that perform different objectives, and that's how we educate our clients if they want to do those.
So at their core, ladies and gentlemen, an annuity can provide a baseline of income, protected, reliable retirement income. And this is something that can add confidence as a generation worries about running out of money over the course of retirement. We may have the largest lump sum of personal net worth comparably to previous generations, but we've got more uncertainty about the stability of our lifestyle in retirement because we've got a finite amount of money and an unknown duration of time to make that money last without the baseline of secure guaranteed income that pensions once offered. So you need to design that plan. You need to get that in place. And again, that is what Tim Stearns and TJ Stearns Inc. specialize and focus in on. That's their niche, ladies and gentlemen, forming that written protect and grow written retirement income plan. And if you'd like to get that put together, pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. So Tim, how would an annuity included in my retirement income portfolio have fared in 2022 during those down markets versus how do you feel, or how have people felt that you talked to that went through 2022 without one?
Well, I'll speak for myself. With me owning an annuity, it was great last year. I didn't lose anything. The averages that we're seeing come through here are anywhere from 18% to about 28%. So 18 down to 28% down. I did not lose a penny in my annuity. That is why I have it as, a balance to the stock portfolio that sure, it took a couple bumps and bruises. I didn't lose as much as the average, thankfully, because we are active money managers. But at the end of the day, our annuities fared very well. The people that I see come in here who did not have any annuities now want to listen to our story, which is an annuity could have done a lot better than your bond portfolio that on average lost 13%. And this is when we educate, we show them an income allocation plan that takes a lot of the stress off of the portfolio by getting an annuity in there. We can do more with less. And I think that's what people really enjoy, and having a plan, they sleep better at night.
Again, Tim, with that annuity plan in place in down markets, when we are generating income, we are not liquidating portions of our account that have already lost value. Hasn't that been drilled in as one of the foundation secrets of long-term success, is that we don't sell during losses? We don't lock in those losses and cash out when the market is down.
Right. And that's what people did last year, is they had to. If I want to, let's say I'm 10 years older and I'm retired, at the age of 61 years old, I'm looking at the fact that I have to pay my bills, and my portfolio is down, like I said, 18 to 28%. And now I'm taking out a portion of that. The safe withdrawal rate of 4% fails 67% of the time. And I'm pulling out 6-7% of my portfolio to pay my bills for 2022 when my portfolio got beat up. I am not happy, and I'm not sleeping well at night. One of the funny things that I ask, kind of, tongue in cheek, is I ask people in our class, does anyone here know how long they're going to be in retirement? And everyone kind of like chuckles and looks at me like, no, man, no one knows that. Exactly. And if you have a spouse, then you need to worry about both of you, so you don't run out of money. How long will you be in retirement? No one knows that. Make sure that you have it covered by having a plan.
Once again, if you would like to formulate, get that plan put together and in writing, the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Income Plans proprietary service there of TJ Stearns Inc. and Tim Stearns, CFP, a certified financial planning professional, will sit along with you, help you define your goals, analyze your current accounts, investments, retirement nest egg, the positions that you own, and make sure that you've got a solid plan and foundation for a livable quality of life stream of income into and throughout retirement, regardless of market conditions. If you'd like to get that put together, take advantage of this offer and opportunity. This and similar reviews could easily go upwards of $1,000 to several thousands of dollars, but it's a service that Tim Stearns CFP extends with no cost or obligation for listeners to the program on the radio, for viewers of the podcast. This is Protect and Grow, and you get the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Income Plan by calling 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Or you can visit online, tjstearns.com, tjstearns.com. Tim, it's not always exclusively about income. Some risk-adverse investors just want a way to protect principal or protect a nest egg against potential market downturns and volatilities, yet still earn a potential reasonable rate of return. Can annuities help us to accomplish this goal as well?
Absolutely. First of all, your principal is protected, right? You can't lose. The worst I can do in a year, and my annuity is a 0%. I've had years, 2021, I did 13%. In a fixed income portion of your portfolio to earn 13%, when an average bond is losing money like it did last year, 13%, I think that stands the test of time to make my portfolio stable. And especially if I'm risk averse, that's the place that you want to put your money, is to make sure, not all of it, but some of it, just so that you can make sure that you are getting a return that stays above the 3% that's inflation currently.
Well, again, if you would like to find out more about how to protect income throughout retirement, protect principal, but still give the opportunity for continued growth and accumulation, if that is your goal, pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns a call. As part of a plan. It is just a tool. It is one option as part of a plan. There are plenty more options, but we are talking specifically about annuities today. And Tim Stearns can help you put the plan together to figure out if and where, if so, an annuity plays a role for consideration. 800-640-2256, the number to call. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. In fact, Tim, if somebody has already been suggested or is considering an annuity or already owns an annuity, you can help them to review and analyze to make sure that that is an appropriate option, correct?
Absolutely, Peter. Anyone out there that has an annuity that they're questioning how it works, how it doesn't work, what their fees are, we are happy to call the insurance company and do what we call an MRI. Just like you do an MRI on your knee, your shoulder, et cetera, we would do an MRI to see exactly what the annuity has in it and what it's lacking, and just make sure that you're in the proper vehicle. I think that, getting it from the horse's mouth with someone there that can help you kind of see through the verbiage that it might be confusing when you get it from an insurance company is worth its price in gold right now, because a lot of people have annuities that haven't performed the way that they thought they would, and we're happy to do that.
And again, Tim, not all annuities are created equal. No. So there could be some opportunities and room for improvement.
Well, right now, income's on sale, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, with interest rates being as high as they are through the Fed raising rates. The payouts are the biggest I've ever seen in my career. And, right now is the time to lock into something like that so that you can have that payout that you'll never see again in your lifetime. If I'm going to retire, this would be the time to do that, because the payouts are on sale right now. They're outstanding.
Again, if you would like to find out more about how to get this and take advantage of an opportunity for leveraging lifetime retirement income with certainty, consistency, and contractual guarantees, pick up the phone and give a call. 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, we have this question about how much do I need to retire? Or how do I know if I am ready to retire? You go through the income planning process, the income allocation, identify that income gap. That is truly the measure and the solution to answer kind of that universal question of, am I truly prepared financially to face retirement?
Absolutely, Peter. And the other thing, what we're seeing is that people come in here and I did a financial model and this is how it works. And, or my other advisor showed me that if I make 6% on this portfolio per year, and I'll say, stop, what if last year happens again? Is that priced into there that in 2022, you're going to lose what you did last year, which was 21%? Is that priced in that? Well, no. Well, that's exactly what we're talking about here. Having an income allocation plan has to be fail-proof. The last thing you want to realize is that you should have worked longer. You shouldn't have taken out so much money, that you got it wrong at the age of 78, 80 years old. What are you going to do? Go back to work then? Go live with your family? So let's get it right. Get it down on paper and figure out exactly what you need and what you don't need for retirement, what your gap is after you get your guaranteed money in, whether it might be a pension, but most of us have Social Security, and figure out how am I going to fill that gap. And an annuity in many cases is the answer. There's other funds out there that we use that would throw off income, but again, those aren't going to be guaranteed. They're the best institutional funds that I work with, but there is risk to that. On an annuity, I can tell people there is not risk, to the principal. And they do have good returns nowadays. A lot of people think, well, I want to get more than 2 or 3%. These funds, within an annuity, they're pretty good. They're actively managed nowadays. They have volatility controls on them. There's a lot of ways to do things, and they've gotten much better than what people think. What they think they know is not correct anymore at all.
I'm glad you mentioned that, though, Tim, because as a certified financial planning professional, CFP, you have access to many tools, solutions, and options across the investment spectrum. So this is not the only tool in your toolbox. That may be another common cause for concern with annuities is that some individuals, that's the only tool. So it's always going to be the right solution, correct?
Right. I mean, with being a certified financial planning practitioner, we're beholden to being a fiduciary, but most importantly is that we need to look at each case by case. It's not a blanket, hey, everyone gets an annuity, no one gets anything but that. That's not how we do things. We want to make sure that everybody is not, a cookie cutter or a stereotype that we need to do. So that's where it comes down to, we have to get good information from people. And when they give us good information, we can build a plan. The plan has to be dynamic. I have a family member who was going to work for another 5 years. He got let go early. So these things do happen. And thankfully, the plan held up its test of time, and that person is still retired. And I think that says a lot about having an income allocation plan. When life gives you the lemons, we're trying to make the best of it, and make sure that we can be dynamic in our planning.
A couple common annuity questions then, Tim. Can I lose money?
No, you cannot. And the one that we're talking about, the fixed index, you cannot lose money. You can get a zero. That'd be the worst that you would do. You cannot lose your principal.
Will I pay a lot in fees?
There's different ways to do your investments in there. The one that I really like is what they call the spread. And you can think of this as a hurdle. So if the spread is, let's say, 2.5%, anything after that, the client gets to keep that. So that's, to me, 2.5% for safety of principal, and I get the rest if the market goes up. I think that's a fair trade-off. I'm not going to get if the market does 30%, I'm not going to get all that. I'd get 30% minus 2.5%. It just depends on it.
Will my cash flow fluctuate? Now, I think that's a big concern because sure, we can have a guaranteed cash flow, but can we guarantee how much with certainty?
With the fixed index annuity, your first payment is your worst, because after that, if there is gains in the market, it will reflect in your payments going up every month, and that turns into a year. So the first payment is the worst one, and after that, it would continue to go up if the market has gone up. It's mirroring it. It's not going to be a apples to apples, but it will go up, and it locks in those gains every year.
Will we be able to keep or access our money if one of us becomes ill between a married couple, or pass it on to beneficiaries, Tim?
Well, first of all, even if you take one payment and you pass away, the money, let's say the Smith family put money in there, it all goes to their heirs or whoever they name as their beneficiaries. As far as if you cannot do two of your activities of daily living over 30 days, many of these different annuities do have long-term care components in there, even for people who aren't insurable right now. We'd have to take a dive into that to make sure that it's perfect for the person. But yes, you can get, long-term care benefits out of there. And they call it the income doubler. It's definitely something to look at.
Well, I think that healthcare expenses are a big concern, Tim. So it seems like some flexibility and options and maybe even some leverage when it comes to those concerns for healthcare expenses.
Right. You have to be flexible, because the world is giving you a new issue every day. Those problems have to be tackled, and an income allocation plan helps with that because it's dynamic, and we can change it on the fly if we need to, depending on what's going on in their lives.
So again, income during retirement, principal protection, the potential to create legacy for your loved ones, some elements in certain cases of healthcare expense protection. Tim, maybe not always the right solution, but certainly worth a discussion and consideration, it seems.
It's definitely worth a consideration. If people are totally risk averse, it's a great spot to put some money for the fixed income portion of their portfolio. If they're okay with risk, we have funds that throw off income much like an annuity. It's just the funds aren't guaranteed not to lose.
Are there any places, Tim, where you would say that an annuity is not appropriate for discussion or consideration? What do they not do well?
Well, Peter, one of the ways it's not entirely accessible once you put your money in there. You are able to take out 10% a year in most cases. But most of these people are putting IRAs in there. You don't want to take out more because it's all taxable. So you need to figure out exactly what tax brackets you're in. We help people with the income allocation plan, guide them through exactly how much they do need to take out. So that's something that it is bad at. I'll say that. But, basically you just need to know that you have a growth bucket for those times when there's an emergency. So that answers that.
And Tim, finally here, you have seen in several cases where annuities have been replaced, sometimes by the same advisor that sold the first annuity in the first place, sometimes while the original annuity was still well within the surrender charge schedule. A word of caution when considering. It may be an appropriate consideration, but there are many times where it may not be, correct?
Well, that all comes down to play with the MRI, right? You go in there and get the devils and the details and make sure that we know exactly that if we are going to get rid of something, that we're not going backwards. And that comes with being a fiduciary. So looking under the hood, making sure you understand how the vehicle works. Maybe it's not a correct time to be moving into a new product. The MRI helps with all that. It answers all the questions.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there are good, bad, potentially even ugly features to consider with every option: pros, cons, benefits, and disadvantages. Annuities are one of the many, many options that we have out there. From the strength is most often in their reliability, predictability, their protection of income and protection capabilities for principal, as well as some ability for continued onward growth and progress. And if you'd like to find out more, if you would like to compare annuities with an advisor that is not beholden to one type of product or one company, then Tim Stearns is a certified financial planner with access to many, not only annuities, but all different types of financial strategies and solutions, including annuities, and not simply with one company. He can help you compare them across many companies. Those are the advantages. And he, of course, brings this all together and applies it to your situation as part of a true plan, the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Income Plan. If you'd like to get that put together, pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, we appreciate the candor and the conversation about the pros, cons, benefits, and disadvantages of annuities on today's program.
Well, Peter, thanks for having me.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.